Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you some of my favorite snacks that I make for my son. He's a little over 2 right now, and these are my go-to snacks no matter what, if we were to take a road trip or just have them on hand. They are pretty easy to make, inexpensive, and did I mention healthy? Oh, and toddler approved. I make these snacks quite often, and as I was making my sweet potato crackers, I realized why not just film it and share it with you guys, because maybe it can help one of you mamas out there who is just looking for something new, something different. And if you want to implement some veggies, more fruit into your child's diet, then hopefully these recipes, you'll give them a try and hopefully they'll like them just as much as my kid. After having my son, I have quickly learned that each child is its own person and they like one thing and don't like another, and not all recipes are going to cater to every single toddler out there. So feel free to switch it around as much as you want and like. So for my homemade granola bars, you'll need some old-fashioned oats, any type of milk, cinnamon, honey or maple syrup, a little bit of coconut oil, applesauce, and any frozen berry that you like. My son is obsessed with raspberries right now, so that's what I'm gonna put in. Sometimes you can put strawberries or blueberries, whichever fruit you like, even little mangoes if that's what you guys like. But anyways, that's all you're gonna need. For my homemade granola bars, the first thing I'm gonna do is just warm up some coconut oil. It's like about a tablespoon here, and then I'm going to add some applesauce, about half a cup. You can do a little bit more if you want, but I just like the consistency just having half a cup. Then I'm going to add my maple syrup. I'm doing a tablespoon, so if you want it a little bit sweeter, I would recommend to add it a little bit more. Again, you can also use honey, any type of sweetener that you want to use, you can. And then I'm gonna add some cinnamon, about a teaspoon of cinnamon. And again, you can always switch these recipes around and make them your own and whatever your child wants and so forth. So I'm just going to stir these ingredients around, and then I'm gonna add my old-fashioned oats. After I mix it all around, I'm gonna add my milk, about a third of a cup. You can do regular milk, you can do coconut milk. I'm doing almond milk because I'm just trying to keep it dairy free, and I had almond milk on hand. And just mix it around gently, and then you can toss in whatever fruit you like. In this case, again, I'm using raspberries, but I've done it with blueberries before, frozen strawberries, whichever fruit your kid likes or you like, because you guys, these granola bars is something that I like to munch on as well. So it's not just kid friendly, it's mommy friendly or adult friendly. This is all you need. Be your everything, and I'll be your everything. Still too soon to feel. Please just say it. As I was mixing, I realized there's just a handful left of raspberries left in that container, so I just threw them in as well. Once everything is mixed in, I'm just gonna put it on my baking sheet and just flatten it out so it kind of has the thickness of a granola bar. And I have my oven already preheated for 350, and I'm gonna put it in there for about 20 to 25 minutes, depending on your oven again, and you're done. My son cannot hide his excitement. He loves anything that I pull out of the oven. He just wants to stand next to me and be the first one to try anything, basically. But not that he likes everything that I do give him. However, these granola bars he loves. He had them a few times. They're good for traveling. They're good to throw in the diaper bag, and they're just so easy and delicious. These don't take very long to make, and anything homemade is way much better, right? I would say you could store them in like an airtight container for up to 4 days, maybe a little more, but in our household they're gone by day 2 because I eat them, my husband eats them, and obviously my toddler eats them. So they're gone really quickly. The next recipe is gonna be my homemade sweet potato crackers, and crackers are not that hard to make. When I first made them, I was amazed how quick and easy they're to make. Yes, you have to kind of spread it out kind of thin so they're crispy enough. But other than that, the ingredients are very simple and you can make them however you want to. So the first thing I did was to wash my sweet potatoes, and then I'm gonna pierce it with a fork just so they don't explode, and just, you know, I'm gonna cook them in the oven for about 2 hours at like 325 or maybe 350 depending if I have enough time. Then it would be a shorter time frame, but you want to cook them slow and you want to cook them in the oven because that's where all the sugars, that's how it gets really sweet. If you were to boil them, it gets really watery, and for crackers you don't want a watery sweet potato. You kind of want it to be a little bit on the drier side, so oven is the best bet. Once the sweet potatoes are done, this is what they should look like, and they're actually very delicious on their own because they're so sweet. But I actually let them cool overnight, and then I started my whole process of making the crackers the next day. And what I'm doing, just taking the flesh out, separating it from the skin, and then I'm just going to mash it up. You can do it in a blender if you want it more creamier texture, but I just don't feel like taking out another gadget and just cleaning it, so you can definitely just mash it up with your fork and it works just as fine. Once your sweet potatoes are mashed, this is what they should look like. Or if you were to blend them in the blender, they would even be creamier, but this texture is totally fine. For this recipe, you would need about a cup of the sweet potato and a cup and a half of almond flour. And as I was scooping out and measuring my flour, I realized it was a perfect amount in that whole container, so I ended up just tossing everything in there. I also tried it with coconut flour, which you can also do. I don't know why, but I like it with almond flour more. I don't know why, it just tastes a little bit better, but I love coconut flour, so it's not that I don't like it, it's just I felt that it tasted better this way. After I added my flour, I'm going to add half a cup of arrowroot powder, some baking powder, about 2.5 teaspoons, and about a teaspoon of salt. And I'll have everything written down in my description box below so you will know the exact measurements. And this is all you pretty much will have to do other than baking it. So crackers are not that hard to make. I never thought it would be this easy, and they taste so much better because they are homemade. Now I'm just going to oil the silicone mat with some coconut oil. You can definitely use any one you like. This is just my preference. So before I even put the mixture, that way when I do lift the crackers, they don't get stuck. And now I'm just going to dump the mixture on the mat, and the tricky part about making these crackers, or any crackers I feel, is that you have to spread them out thin enough so they are crispy. If you don't make them thin, then they'll still be good, but they won't have that crunch to them, which I think a lot of kids like. So this one trick that I've discovered is to use a rolling pin, and it does stick to the batter. So what you want to do, you want to put some oil on it, and then when you roll it out, it doesn't stick, and it actually helps to even out the whole mixture so it's all the same thickness everywhere. And then your your crackers will come out to be crispy, and they'll be crispy everywhere. Instead of, I used to use my hands to spread it out. By using the rolling pin, it's actually much easier and better. And now I'm just using a small paring knife and making little lines, so when they cook and when I want to break them, they break a lot easier. and they'll break into little squares instead of just random shapes. And also you can add any seasoning you want. This time I'm actually going to be adding some sesame seeds, but you can definitely do flax seeds. Everything but the bagel seasoning is phenomenal. You can just make your cracker your own, sprinkle some sea salt. There's a lot of things you can do. But yeah, that's the fun thing about making your own crackers. You can make them the way you want to or the way your toddler wants to. I'm just going to do half of it sesame seeds and half of it plain because I'm not sure how my son will react to sesame seeds in a sense of taste. But other than that, that's it. And then I'm just going to throw it in the oven for about 25 minutes at 350. And this is how they should look like after they're out of the oven. You want them to cool completely before breaking them into little squares, and this is how they turned out after I broke them. And you can see they're not perfect, but they're homemade crackers and you can't beat anything homemade. This batch will last us about 5 days. But if my husband and I snack on them, then they will be gone in like maybe 3 days, depending how much we eat. But my son loves them. He just sits and snacks on them, and they're perfect for something in between meals, and or especially after his nap. When he wakes up, he's hungry, and kids are not like, oh, I'm getting hungry. They want food now. So I love giving him these crackers because they're filling. They hold him over until his actual meal, and they're healthy. For my son's smoothie, I like to always add some spinach, chia seeds, organic. They have omega-3, iron, fiber, all the good stuff. And he doesn't eat meat. He barely eats any meat. So I feel that, you know, red meat gives you iron. So I have to add this to it. Some hemp seeds. And this is all optional. This is what I like to make it for my son. And then also some fruit, frozen berries. He usually likes strawberries, but I didn't have any. But I have some frozen raspberries, bananas, and pineapple are his favorite. And then I also add some coconut water, and it's kind of sweet. And you have to make sure when you ever buy it, it has to be like cold pressed, or it has to be like in a refrigerator. That's where all the nutrients are. So that's what I like to add in the smoothie. And then I have some steamed cauliflower. I usually buy it and I keep it in the freezer, but I didn't have any, so I just threw in some fresh cauliflower and just steamed it, and I'm gonna throw that in. I'm sure smoothie is no brainer for a toddler as a snack. I'm sure they all love it, but I need to trick my kid into eating vegetables. He doesn't eat vegetables as much as I want him to. So my trick to put more nutrition in there is to add spinach, cauliflower, and I'm adding some hemp seeds, chia seeds, and the twist on it is that I actually add coconut water because it is really good for babies and or toddlers, but it's also sweet, so it gives that sweet flavor as if I were to add juice, but it's not juice. And I feel totally comfortable him drinking this almost every day if he wanted to. But it is winter, so we're not drinking smoothies as often as we should. But other than that, this is it. Very easy and simple. It'll take you about a few minutes, but it's a bowl or a cup filled with nutrition. I think smoothies are the best way to trick your kid into consuming vegetables or anything that you want them to consume, because when you blend everything together, you can't taste it. And this is like my go-to when I know he's not eating as healthy as he should be. So these are my favorite homemade snacks that I make for my son. You never know, it could all change tomorrow and he might not like anything that I give him, but for now he eats it and I'm happy. They're easy to make, and I hope you guys give these recipes a try. If you guys did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.